So hello everyone. I think probably my voice is little much better today. So still some clarity has to be there from my side. So my voice is still not good, frankly to say. Um, so probably I have just committed one code to the GitHub repository, and I have actually shared you the link in the Telegram app. So hope everyone has received the GitHub link, and then probably you can just go through those. Let me share my screen first of all. So here I have a lot of branches over here. I just wanted to show that in GitHub. Okay, so this is just an example of the portal that we are going to develop in future. So this is somewhere related to Swiggy.com. So we have actually completed the portal till this level. Okay, so if you just see this over here, we have exactly created the same type of things, whatever we do see over here in the Swiggy portal. So it exactly looks the same way. Okay, so probably I will just tell you when we are going to start this major project, because we are going to start this major project from the second month. Okay. So here, let me go to this GitHub first of all. So I have just created one core Java to Spring Boot web project. So here what you will be getting it. So if you can see that there is a core Java basic code, which was converted to Spring Core, which was again converted to Spring Web, and then which was converted again to the Spring Boot web code. Now, if you just see the core Java basic code, only there will be a basic information on how to run that particular application, because this is just a simple core Java based code, and probably have actually given how to run this application. And if you just go to the Spring Core code, I've just given you some annotations. And so these are the different coding logics that we are going to perform, the steps, the flow. And here you can just click on the main class to run this application. And also these are the @configuration annotations, what is the purpose and what is the usage. And also there is something called @component scan, what it is actually used for, and @rest controller followed by usage, @controller plus @response body, and we have to use this one as a combination, and @service, @repository, and that's all. So basically, you don't have to write the nodes. That's what I was saying, because everything is being listed over here. Okay. Now, if I just wanted to go to the Spring Web, so right now you don't see any Tomcat servers over here, right? If you just go to this Spring Web code, not a Spring Boot. So here you can see I have actually given the usage of this dispatcher servlet, why dispatcher servlet is really required in Spring Web. How to configure the Tomcat server. I have just given you the steps. I've just given you how to run your application on Tomcat server by starting the server. So, and you can use this URL for the testing purpose. Okay. And then followed by the list of annotations. And probably if you just go back, and then if I just select Spring Boot web code. So here I have changed the comments. So dispatcher servlet is not required, because dispatcher servlet will be automatically configured, by the Spring Boot through the auto configuration feature. So you don't have to configure the Tomcat server, because Spring Boot internally has Tomcat server embedded. And how to run your application, and what is the URL of the application to test it. So this is how I have actually listed the steps in a neat way so that everyone can understand. Got it? Hope this helps for everyone. So just take this application, a clone from the GitHub, and then probably everything will work out for you. Okay. Yeah. So before proceeding, right? So can you just tell me if you just have got some idea on Spring Framework, first of all? Anyone from the online? But I wanted to thanks Murli because every time he responds, and I see Murli is the only person who is active. Yeah, there are some other also. There are some other people also. Okay, so don't mind, but please make sure that um, everyone is on the right path. Okay, and one more thing, since you are paying some amount for this particular course, do not hesitate to ask even a simple question. Since you are paying it, I'm telling you. So it's the responsibility from your side that you just have to understand everything from my side. And if you do have any concerns, probably you can just reach out to me during the call, or you can just post me a question in the Telegram channel. I'll be able to respond to your query. And one more thing I just wanted to say, if anyone is going to set up their applications in the local machine, if you are getting any issues, kindly ping in the Telegram channel. I'll just give you one link, okay, where you can just join and resolve your query. Okay, so that's the total idea. Thank you, Indira. Okay. So I think probably you can just take this project, clone this project, and understand how the actual flow works. Okay. And let's say if you just wanted to check that project first of all. So let me show that steps to you all, because this is just the beginning, right? So I just wanted to show you each and every step. Okay. So this is running. So I just wanted to. So let me open this application, and let's say you have this GitHub account over here. So there is something called, so there is a URL. So if you just go to this repository and the project name, so there is something called a URL present over here. Just click on this, it will be copied, and then probably you can just open your IntelliJ. So here you can just say it as a new project, and you can get it. Close this one first of all. This is not required. So get from VCS. That means go to the GitHub, paste the URL, and below here you will just get a clone. Just click on this clone, and then probably you will get that project. Okay, so this is the project. Now, if you can see, it is in the main branch. In the main branch, you don't have any code, but on the top left, there is something called a remote. This is a local repository, and in the remote repository, we do have all these branches. So you can just click on this core Java basic code, do a checkout, and here you will be getting the project like this. Okay, so you can just click on this setup JDK, and probably if you have configured the JDK, then probably it will come over here. Okay, but if you don't have it, so just go to this project structure. So I just wanted to show it again. So on the top left, there is something called a project structure. And if you don't have any SDK over here, probably you can just go to edit. And this is my JDK home path where I have actually the C program files, Java JDK. And then probably you can just click on OK in the bottom. Okay. And if you just go to this, do the cancel. And here, let's say, if you don't recognize, if IntelliJ is not recognizing this pom.xml, then there is something called add as Maven project. Right now, if you see that, if you just go to this, I'm not getting an option to run this application. Run as Java application is not there. The only thing is just go to your pom.xml and just click on this add as Maven project. Can you see this? So you can go to the pom.xml and just click on this add as Maven project. So then only you will get this classes recognized and you will get these options to run. So now you can see run as core Java application and the debug as core Java application. Okay. So that's the total idea. And if you just wanted to switch the branch, let's say from core Java to, so if you just see that it has a very good editor. So this is the readme.md file. If you just, there are 3 icons on the top right. So if you just click on this, just see this structure. This is just an alternative convention. And if you just wanted to see side by side of the README, you know, so this is just to document our, the application, what it actually does. So if you just wanted to see this, you can just see it, this. And if you just wanted to see the text, whatever it is there, so you can just, now I just wanted to check out the Spring Core code, check out. So now if you can see that, you have this one, okay? All the steps. So if you just wanted to change the branch, then probably go to the remote always. Every time you have to check it from the remote, not from the local. So Spring Web Code, check out. So, but my suggestion is, since you cannot add, so this Spring Web application will only work if there is a Tomcat server. So right now, IntelliJ IDE Community Edition does not provide you an option to configure a Tomcat server. So probably for only this particular example, you can just go to that one the STS IDE or the Eclipse IDE. You can just go on Show Views, click on Servers, click on this. A tab will be generated. The same thing has been given over here, how to configure the Tomcat server. So on the top menu, go to the Windows Others type servers, then a new tab will be generated in after the console tab. So I have just documented the same. Just understand it, okay? And here you basically you just have to download the Tomcat server. So basically, if you just go to this, and if you don't have the Tomcat server over here, so you can just click on this add. Probably you can just download and install it. You can also download and install it directly from here. Okay. Now, once this is done, you can just click on finish. And then probably once you do have the server, then import the project of this Spring Web, because we will not be configuring the servers at any cost in the future sessions, because we'll be completely using the Spring Boot applications. We don't have to configure the server. Okay, so now let's copy this project as a Maven project inside this over here. Type Maven and existing Maven projects. Paste this URL, click on browse and click on this finish. Now, once you have this project, so you can just add the project, add and remove. We'll just add that and finish it. And now start the server. Probably the application will start on this server, and then basically you can just hit this endpoint. So here if you just go to this readme.md, there's an option for you, right? So HTTP, copy this. So you don't have to worry about what is the URL once the application is runs. So I have just documented it, and just over here and press enter, you'll get the data. Got it? So that's the total idea. So only for Spring Web, that means only for Spring Web code. If you just see here, only for Spring Web code, you have to add a Tomcat server, because you don't have an option to add that in the IntelliJ IDE Community Edition. But if you are using Ultimate Edition, then probably you will be able to add the Tomcat server. Okay. So that's the total idea. So I have given all the steps. For today, what you can do, you can just clone this project, just like whatever I have done. So here you just go to the new project or project from version control. Click on this and go to the GitHub and paste the URL over here. The URL that you are going to get from here. And now paste it. And here in the bottom, you will get an option to clone. So once you click on clone, you'll just get this project. So that's the total idea. Okay. Okay. So now what we can do today. So today, I will just select this, or we can develop a new project. So let's go to this start.spring.io. See, checkout is basically to get the project right. So here, if you just wanted to, 1 second, let me go to this one. And if I just wanted to go to the terminal, and here, instead of switching the branches directly from here, right? Here. So there is something called a git checkout. And what is the branch that we are going to ship to? Core Java basic code. So let me remove this. So here, what you can just do, I think there are some target classes which are actually not allowing me to commit this. Okay, so if you just see this, please commit your ID dot. Okay, so let me refresh this first of all. So basically, git checkout is basically used to shift from one branch to another branch. See here, we are actually shifting the branches from, right now, this is which branch? So this is a Spring Web code. If I just wanted to shift to some other branch, this is basically called a checkout. Okay. Checkout. Okay. So force checkout, always do force checkout, because there will be some files which will not allow to check out directly. Okay. So here you will check out. The checkout means it is basically switching from one branch to another branch. That is something called a checkout, to simply answer your question modeling. Okay. So what is the difference between checkout and switch? Akshay, tell me what is the difference? Akshay, can you unmute from your side?
Yeah, yes.
Akshay?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, tell me, what is your concern?
Sir, the checkout is for the switching the branch, and for the uh, what is the means checkout switch git switch we can use like.
See, basically the only difference between the checkout, see, what you are basically what idea you are getting from the checkout option.
Uh, Means it is going to from one branch to another branch.
Okay, see, checkout and switch both are same. Okay, so checkout is a versatile command which is capable of discharging your changes. That means whatever the changes that you do have, right? If you do have any changes over here, let's say I just wanted to add a new line. Okay, now if you just wanted to do a git checkout, then probably this will not allow you to check out, and we are going to get this one directly. See here.
Okay.
Okay.
Means, yeah,
But directly will switch you to some other branch. So that's the only difference. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but basically you can see these little comments when so this is just to give a basic idea on Git. Okay. We have a lot more things to be covered because next week we are actually starting on the movie ticket booking system, and I just want everyone to refresh their knowledges first of all. Okay. Okay, then probably what we can do now today. So what we can do? Let's do some basic CRUD application for today. Akash, environments will be explained when we are actually discussing about Docker, because Docker is the right choice whenever we are actually considering different environments, Akash. Probably right now, if I just take application-dev.properties or application-uat.properties, all these environment variables will not be understood because we are actually hard coding at the rate profile and we are giving the environment variable over there, right? So right now, when we discuss about Docker, we will see that, but not right now. Okay. So probably from next week, I will actually basically set up the project from the scratch. So my voice is a little bit not good. So what I just wanted to say, when India is actually into finals, right? So we have actually shouted in one conference room. So everyone is shouting, and I was also shouting. So my throat has gone away. Okay, so that's the issue. Yesterday it was too worst. So please don't mind if my voice is not clear to everyone. Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So now what I can do, I will just go to this start.spring.io. And here I will just choose a Maven project. And here you can just add the dependencies of the web first of all. I just wanted to add Lombok also. I just wanted to add JPA. I just wanted to add, what are all the other things? MySQL driver. So I just wanted to call this as com.user. So we will also use Docker in this, but not today, maybe from Monday onwards. Okay. Okay, thank you. Teja, to answer your question, IntelliJ IDEA does not have a Spring Starter plugin. Only in the IntelliJ and Ultimate Edition only you will get this. Let me open this IntelliJ Ultimate Edition for everyone. So IntelliJ Ultimate Edition will provide you to create a Spring Starter project. But IntelliJ IDE Community Edition, you will not be getting that plugin. Okay. Only in the Ultimate Edition you have it, Teja. So you have to create the project from the initializer only. Okay. That's what I can say. Generate it. Java 21 is also there, but we are not using it. Java 21 is not for long-term support. It is just a testing version. Just extract all. So here you just go to this path and paste this URL where the form.xml is present. And here, open and paste it. So sometimes you will be getting it. And sometimes if you are not getting it, then probably you can choose that out from the downloads itself. First project, this window. So right now you have a user registration system. So here, if you see this cup symbol, go to the form.xml. Okay, right now that is not there. So this is recognized as a margin. If you are actually seeing cup symbol, then probably it is not recognized as a Java class. Okay, so here I just wanted to create 5 different packages. Package 1, which is for controllers. Package 2, which is for services. Package 3, which is basically for repositories. Yeah, it's basically communicates with database. These classes or skeletons are basically used to communicate with database.
Before that package will impact the business level.
I'll tell you. Yeah. So here, just create another package, which is something called entities. And finally, we do have something called DTOs. I'll tell you about DTOs. DTOs are simple like plain Java classes, which has properties, setters, getters, and constructors. Yeah. So basically, we cannot pass the entity directly through the controller to the controller. We basically have to pass this DTO to the controller, and then controller have to convert that DTO to the entity. Okay. So that's the total idea. Right. So here I just wanted to create one user controller, or we will call it as user registration controller. This makes sense. And here I just wanted to create user. Okay. To this, I need to pass user DTO. So let's go to this DTO and create a user DTO. So here I just wanted to use some properties, string, email, string. What are all the other things that we can use? Mobile number, and then address. Good. What is this? Adding servlet API jar libraries, it is working, sir, but install Tomcat in local machine is. Yeah, Teja, I will look into that issue, man. Okay. Hold for some time, man. At least let me go through the actual coding logic. Doubts apart, okay? What is the next property that we can give? Username, fine. Email is itself as a, yeah.
So address would be-
Okay, address is the one. So probably instead of address, I can just give it as city.
state also.
No, not required. It's a very simple application, right? So date of birth. So probably I'll make this as local date. Okay, now we have all these properties. So do I have to generate setters, getters, constructors, and all these kind of things? No, because we have added Lombok. So probably what we can do, we can just add data, which in turn generates getter, setter, required args, to string equals and hash code, everything. Okay, I just wanted to go back and I just wanted to generate all args constructor, the constructor for all these properties, and a no args constructor also, and builder. This is just to convert user DTO to entity and user entity to DTO. Okay, let me tell you. Yeah. So now I just wanted to go to these entities. I just wanted to create one user entity. So here in the user entity, I just wanted to copy paste all these fields which are actually required for the user entity because. Okay. Now I just wanted to add one more property, which is the primary key. Okay. Now what I need to do, the same annotations which are used on top of this, same annotations followed by some other annotations called @entity to make this inserted into database. If you want to save this user entity to database, it has to be annotated with @entity and in which table it has to save to. So there is something called a table name. For this, what I just wanted to give, I just wanted to give the table name as users. So for this user entity, users table will be created in the database. And what are all the columns inside this users table? User underscore ID, email, mobile underscore number, city, and date of birth. But user ID has to be auto-generated. That's the reason in the DTO I have not taken user ID. So I just wanted to generate it automatically. There is something called @ID. You can just use this and followed by @generated value. And we do have something called a strategy. And you can use auto over here, generation type auto. That means user ID will be automatically populated. Okay. And you don't have to use column for this, but let me tell you the advantage also by adding a column. So right now I just wanted to complete this. So now we are done with this. And let's go to the repository and create a user repository. So user repository must not be a class, it must be an interface. User repository. And this has to extend. There are two repositories. One is a CRUD repository and another one is a JPA repository. I'll tell you when to use which repository, first of all. Since we are actually inserting the user, deleting the user, updating the user, and getting the user, right? So we can just perform CRUD. So there is something called a CRUD repository. CRUD means create, retrieve, update, and delete. So here we need to give two values. One is the user entity. That means this repository is basically for this user entity. And what is the primary key? Integer. If you just go to this user entity, integer is the primary key. So we need to give only the types. So that's all. You don't have to do anything. Okay. Now come back and go to this user registration controller and add @request body. So first of all, before adding this, so I just wanted to create a user, right? First of all, what are the different annotations that we need to use? One is @rest controller, followed by @request mapping. So here there are some conventions. Okay. So here I just wanted to say it as users. That's it. If I just say post mapping, that's it. So localhost 8080 /users, and the request is the post request. We don't have to say again like create user. Okay, this is one of the principal violation of the REST. Whenever we are designing our URLs, we don't have to mention actions. So here, if I say /users and the request is of type post, it is basically used for creating a resource. That's all. Okay. Now the other thing. So what is the kind of object that I can pass as a body? So there is something called request body. Pass the user detail. That's all. Okay. Now I need to create a service. First of all, create interface first. User registration service. And here I just wanted to create a nested package, which is something called .impl. So here I just wanted to create user registration service IMPL. That means it is an implementation class for user service. Now, if you just go to the method name over here, just copy this and paste it inside this user registration service. And this is not required. Sorry, not in this. Go to this interface and paste it over here. Okay, we'll come back and annotate this class with @service. So service class is actually meant for doing some validations. Controller is actually meant for receiving the data. Service is actually meant for doing some validations. Let's say email is present or not, whether the mobile number is having 10 digits or not. So all this kind of validations, we will write it in the service class. Okay, but even that is not required. We have something called a validators. Okay, so we can use that, but not right now. Yes, we can do that. Not in this. Yeah, not in this, but probably we will add some other details maybe later. But here, what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to make this as a service class, which is actually meant for doing some validations. And this is the only service class you can call the database. Okay. So here I just wanted to add that create user is done. Now I just wanted to go to this. Okay. So now I just wanted to go to this user registration service IMPL and so this one. Yeah. So here what basically I can do, I can just go and private. So I have to take user registration service IMPL or user registration service as a dependency in this. Which one I have to use, interface or class? Service interface, good. Okay, so every time we need to depend on the interfaces, not the classes. And make it as auto-wide. so that Spring will get the object from the container and inject to it. Now this dot user registration dot. The purpose of this controller is just to receive the request and pass the request to the service classes. In the service class, basically we will have some conversions, validations, and all this kind of things. Controller is basically used for receiving the request and returning the response. That's the total job of a controller. Okay. Now, if you just go to this create user, and here what I need to do, I need to take user repository as a dependency. Auto-write it and use this user repository. This dot user repository dot save. Can we save this user DTO? No. If you see the save, this is basically accepting the classes which are annotated with @entity. Now we cannot use this. So here what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to convert this user DTO to the user entity. So how we can do that? So user entity dot builder dot user ID, we don't have to set it. Email, we'll get it from the user DTO dot get email, and then dot mobile number, user DTO dot get mobile number, and then dot date of birth, user DTO from get date of birth. And finally dot build. So here basically we will be getting the user entity, and we will pass this user entity to this. That's the total idea. Now what this save is actually going to return the same user entity only. So if you just create the user, and then probably if you just go to this user registration controller. So once the user is created, probably you can just respond this with return new response entity. And here basically what you need to do, and I just wanted to return a simple string saying that registered, and there is something called HTTP status dot created. And if you see this created, see basically 200, 201, 202, 203, 204, and so on, 206. All these 2 series are successful scenarios. Okay, so if you are going to create some record in the database, we can actually return OK also, but we are actually changing some in the database server. That means we are actually creating some users in the database, right? So probably this is the proper convention to return the response. So HTTP created, that means a resource has been created in the backend. So here we can actually, so how to get rid of this error? So here we are actually returning this user entity, right? Copy this and paste it over here. That's the total idea. Okay. Now everything is done, but we are missing some details. Okay, so we need to give the database URL, use element, all the kind of things. But here I just wanted to delete this application.properties, and I just wanted to add application.yaml. I'll tell you about YAML file in a bit. Don't worry about that. So here I just wanted to type spring.application.name. What is the service name here? User registration system. And then followed by data source. Spring dot data source URL. And what is the URL? So JDBC :MySQL /localhost. So is this correct or not? I don't know, but let's go to this GitHub, copy the right URL. So I have already this user registration service. Yeah, this is correct only. Okay. So here basically I will just do localhost 3306. This is my MySQL port number / registrations. Okay. So if I just wanted to open my MySQL database, so here localhost 3306. So there is no registrations over here. So registrations. Let's say if I just have to, so probably what I can do, I can just create a registration DB from here. But we don't want to do that. We have to automatically create that. Okay. So for creating this one, we do have something called, there is something called a create database if not equal to true. If the database is not there, the registration database right now, it is not available inside this one. Right now we don't have this. So it will create it. Okay. I will let you know why I have not deleted it. Okay. Why I have deleted it. I will let you know PM now. Okay. So now the other thing is URL and then the username. The username is root. Password is this one. And then followed by, there are some other placeholders, right? So Spring dot, there's something called JPA. This one. There's something called show SQL. So I will make it as true. And also there is something called format SQL. I think this is not required for now. Just close this there. Okay. Now, what I need to do now, I just have to start my application first of all. And yes, we will place that. Okay, so just go to this. So Spring dot Hibernate. There's something called DDL Auto. So this is basically used to create the databases. And if you just see our entity, it will create table users for this particular class. Okay. Yeah. So now what I just wanted to do, let me see on how it is actually working. Okay. So let me run this application and debug this application. Not debug. Let's run this application and see what is getting created in the console. See the logs properly. Yeah, port 8080 is already in use. Maybe this one. I need to stop it. Let me restart it again. See here, if you can see over here, it has actually created a table users. And these are the columns, date of birth. You see that user ID is I capital. So it has actually created user underscore ID column. City, email, mobile underscore number. And if you just go and see over here, the database is also created. Let's refresh this. Can you see this registrations? So you don't have to manually create a database by clicking on this. So if you have this property, which is something like application.yaml, that means registrations. And if you have this, if you have this, then probably it will create a database followed by creating a table. Okay. Now the idea is, let's go to this one. So if I just have application.properties, okay. So anyone knows how to create those? So I just wanted to keep inside. Yeah. So here I just have to do spring dot application dot name equal to next. Again, I need to repeat spring dot data source dot URL. And then again, I need to repeat spring dot data source dot username. And again, I have to repeat spring dot data source dot password. And again, I have to repeat all this kind of things again. Spring dot again, JPA dot show SQL equal to true. And then spring dot again repeat JPA dot Hibernate equal to create. This one is good or this one is good. But these are not only the differences between properties file and YAML file. I will let you know more about this YAML file when we are actually discussing about Docker. Okay. So this is one basic difference, and YAML, it gives a lot of flexibility in order to not repeat all that spring.data source again and again, and spring.jpa again, and then spring.jpa.hibernate again. Okay. So that's the reason I just don't wanted to use properties file. I just wanted to use YAML file, which will makes a lot of sense over here. Got it? Yes, yes. Yeah, but that is the basic difference. Duplicates, yeah. But there is more advantage of using YAML. I will tell you when Docker comes. So here you don't have to make it as create every time, because let's say you have a database and you have a lot of tables. If you just use this create, everything will be created from the scratch. So always make sure that you keep this update property. Okay. Restart this application. So since the database and the table are already there inside the database, so that's the reason it has not created the table again and again. So that's the advantage of using update. Okay. So now we'll just test our application. So how we can test our application? What is the endpoint? So this is the one. So here, I just wanted to debug this point here. I just wanted to go over here. Here also a debugging point. And then for probably save will do. Okay. Now what we are going to do, we'll just open a Postman. Array. Okay. So here I just wanted to make this as users. It's a post request. And then probably I need to provide the URL, the data. So if you just go to this user data, what are all the other fields we do have? Email, mobile number. Mobile number is also there, right? So let's provide the mobile number. And date of birth. So here we need to give the data in terms of string only. So here I will just give the trigger 0920. And I think these are the fields, right? Email, mobile number, date of birth, and city. Fine, right? Now I'll just hit the application. User has been registered. Okay. So, but I have not started the application in debug. So let's debug that application. So if you can see that the record has already been created. City is null. Why city is null? Okay. So we have not set it. So if you just go here, we have not set the city. Dot city. User DTO. Dot get city. Stop it and restart the application in debug mode. And let's see. Okay. So we can check whether all the cities and everything is there or not. Only the service, but there is another pattern for this. Okay. Okay, the application has been started. I'll just hit this. And we have got the request. So here, these are the details which I have passed. These are the same details, okay? So date of birth is also captured as local date. It's not a string. It is converted to a local date. So email, mobile number, city. So if I just go a step forward, I'm just getting the user data with all this information. I just have to convert this to a user entity. So here, if you just go step forward. So right now, if you see this user entity, user ID is null. We don't have to set it. While saving it, it will generate it. Now, if you just go to this database, already there is a one. So it has to generate the second one, right? So now if I just click on this one, just wanted to go to this controller again. And I just wanted to keep a debugging point over this. Hit this, and now it is taking some time. And the data has been inserted into the database. Let's see whether it is inserted or not. Refresh. And you can see that we have the database inserted. Okay. Now, the other thing, so once the data is inserted, we have to say that user has been registered and we have to return the proper HTTP status code. That's the reason response entity is specifically designed. Okay. So if you just click on this one, we'll just return you the user has been registered and 201 created. This is a successful response. Okay. Now, the other way around, there are so many patterns over here. Let's say I just wanted to, let's say, response entity. If you just see here, it has also a builder. Response entity dot there is something called a body. Yeah, okay. And here created, and it has so many things. Okay, so you just consider this of okay and body. So you can also use this one. So response entity dot, you can use okay, and user has been registered. Okay means it is basically not 201, it is 200. It is okay if you are going to return 200 also, because it is a successful response, right? So just stop it and press it again. But it's always appropriate to return 201 only, not 200. 200 is also okay, but since it is a post request, since we are updating the resource, that means we are actually creating the record in the database, it's obviously better to return 201. Okay, so even if I test this, it will work, but with 200. So 200 series is basically going to say to the end user that this is a successful response. Oh, got it? Yeah. So that's the total idea. And I just wanted to return this one exactly like this. Okay. But since if you can see over here, we are actually inserting the multiple records. We need to give email and mobile number to unique. Both has to be unique, right? So if both has to be unique, just go to this user entity. And here I just wanted to make this as, there is a red column. There's something called unique true. And make this as unique true. Restart this application and start this application again. And now you can see that there will be some strange issues. Okay. Started. And now let's hit this request. User has been registered. What is this? First of all, let's see this. Insert into users. And now it has been inserted. What is happening? Anyone knows what is happening? So how this table has been created in the first? It is unique or non-unique, first of all? Are getting the things? Getting the things? How this user is getting saved? Anyone? Huh? So this is unique as true, right? Why this is allowing it? Anyone from the online? Anyone from online? Yeah.
Already communicates the present table, and maybe it's not.
See, even if the ID is different, Pemmasai Ramu, if you just go to this database, email and mobile number are actually declared as unique, right? So now I'll just do one thing. I'll just drop this again. Drop now. And I just wanted to even if update is there, it is not a problem. Let me stop this application and restart this application again. Can you see this now? Previously it was there, unique key. No, right? So now let's submit the data. Okay, submit it. It will insert it for the first time. It has inserted. Now, if you just hit this again, now you'll see the issue. So every time whenever you are actually changing the database structure or making any columns as unique, make sure that you have to update it. Otherwise, things will even go worse. Okay. So here, if you can see that we are actually getting internal server error. Abhinav Bellankonda. Abhinav, can you just unmute?
Yeah, sir. So I actually thought like there are constants, right? So I thought we need to also add at the rate not null, so it doesn't take null values.
Not required. So there is something called, if you just go to this, not at the rate not null, it is not something like that. If you just go to this user entity, we have something called nullable false. What is this meaning?
We null values can't be inserted.
This has to be okay. So I'll
This is
explain all these kind of things when the time comes, not now. Okay. So don't worry, I'll tell you all the things. Okay. Yeah. MSI, even if ID is different, ID will be different only, right? It will not get sent because here we have make sure that email and mobile number are actually unique columns. So you cannot add duplicates. But let's say if this application is being tested by a non-technical person, let's say product owner or manager is going to test the application. Will he be able to understand this response? No, right? There has to be some certain way. Yes, Ashok. Ashok, did you raise your hand? You can unmute and talk. Ashok Kumar Sahu. Yes, Ashok, tell me. I cannot hear your voice. Okay. Fine then. So probably we will just go further. So we cannot pass these values directly like this, right? So if you just go over here, you just have seen the exception like, what is the exception that you're going to get? SQL integrity constraint violation exception, right? So there is something called duplicate entry for key, this one, right? So this is the message that we need to take. So now how we can actually design our application in order to send this data integrity constraint violation exception. So if you see this exception response, no one will be able to understand what kind of response this is. Right? No one will be able to understand it. Okay. Now, what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to create one handler, package handler. So in this handler, I just wanted to make it as user registration. So, and on top of this, I just wanted to trust controller advice. That means I have to, so if you see this exception, what is the exception name? This is the one. Copy this and create a method, public void So there is something called an exception handler. And here we need to mention that as dot class. Import that first of all. And here place the same exception. So here, what I just wanted to do. So right now we are getting this default response. That means internal server error. So right now what I just wanted to do, return SQL exception dot get. There is get default message. Okay. So there is get message. So whatever the exception that you are going to get over here, duplicate entry for dsrinivas@gmail.com. Okay. So I just wanted to return that message. Just make it as string. But we will enhance this exception handler a bit later on, but right now we'll just run this. So now I just wanted to stop this application. And I just wanted to debug this application. Make sure that you have update over here, good. And then probably you can just run this application now. Okay. It started. Yeah. Now, if I just go to this one, it will go further, go further. While saving it, let me clear the console. Now, it will throw an exception. That means it is actually performing an insert, but it has got the exception. Now, if you see what is the exception that it has got, a SQL exception. Duplicate entry for dsrinivas. Now, if I just wanted to click this again, see here. And here we are actually returning 200 status. This is not correct, right? What is the appropriate status that we can return? Because this is a error scenario, right? So what is the status that I can return from here? By default, every status is a 200 status. So right now I just have to modify this to some other response. Then what is the appropriate status code that I can return? Error message is okay, but what is the status code that I have to return? Anyone from online? It's 500. Yes. Because previously when we have got the SQL exception, it has actually returned us 500 internal server error, right? So here what I need to do, so here I just wanted to copy paste this and then new response entity. And here I just wanted to return a string, which is this one, and comma, HTTP status dot internal server error. And here you can just return response entity of the string and just restart it. Okay, now send it. See here, internal server error, and this is the error. Now, even a non-technical guy can understand that, oh, duplicate entry is not. Duplicate entry is Have you understood?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Now let's pass some test 02. This is valid, but mobile number is also there, right? But let's send this now. See here. So you can change that to 9. Now, what is happening? Duplicate entry. Yeah. Okay. Now we have got this user registered. Now, if you just go and see the database, refresh it, you get this one is different and this one is also different. So that's the total idea. And I just wanted to conclude this over here.
The exception will plus letter means use.
Right. Yes, Ashok Kumar Sahu, tell me.
Sir, what is at the rate builder annotation?
Sorry?
What is at the rate builder annotation you use in the entity class?
See, basically, if you just see over here, so I cannot save user DTO directly, right?
Yes.
So here, instead of doing this, I need to use this one, right? So user entity. I need to call set of city and then user DTO dot get city and then user entity dot set date of birth user DTO dot get date of birth. So right now we need to do all these kind of things, right? So instead of this object creation and instead of this calling status directly, we can use this one directly to convert our user DTO to the user entity without writing this code.
Okay. Thank you.
Understood? Yeah, so that's the advantage of using user entity over here. That means we are using builder. So sometimes I will tell you why builder is also used over here and why builder is also used over here. So let's say if you have saved this user entity, you will be getting the user entity as a return type, right? From DB. Okay. Now here, what I need to do, I cannot return user entity as a return type over here. So again, I need to use user DTO dot builder dot email. So now I will have to get this from the DB, then dot get email, and then dot date of birth. And also we can set the ID also over here. So this is a user entity, right? Yeah, user DTO. So here I can just type city, user entity from database, that get city, and then probably we do have something called mobile number. So user entity from db dot get mobile number and then dot build. So here we can just return just change this to user DTO. So the mode of communication will be only to the end user or to the end client. We always have to give DTOs, not our entities, because entity is a database related one. DTO is the request related one. So we need to use DTOs as our request as well as response. Got it? Okay. Hope you got the idea. Okay. So right now I just wanted to return void only because sometimes we can also return this data. Okay. But right now I just wanted to end this over here. Good. Yeah, it is a Lombok feature. It is a Lombok feature, Gaurav. PN Rao, SQL table can be altered from Java application only when we keep it as update. Okay. Is that okay, PN Rao? Yeah. Any other questions apart from this? I just wanted to stop sharing my screen. And I just wanted to ask some questions for the people. So Naresh, why?
Good morning, sir. We are declaring the properties in the entity also, right? That is related to database. So if you want to do any validation, so we are using some.
That's the specific purpose, Naresh. But tomorrow we will see that. Okay. See,
Yeah.
DTOs are actually meant for, if you just see over here, let me share my screen and just
Yeah, I
explain.
agree.
Yeah.
DTO sir is related to the JSON request.
Yes,
We
yes.
are
So here,
updating.
yeah, probably, if you can
Yeah.
just see it over here, we can also do the validations like this. But this is not the best idea to see whether this email is actually getting dot. So you can just see that whether this email is already existed or not. That means if it is not existed, then probably what we can do. So let's say if you just wanted to check whether this email is right now equals to empty. So we can just throw an exception from here. User email is empty, something like that. And we can just declare this exception at this method level. Okay. Now
Yes,
we
sir.
can do all these kind of validations in the service. That is not a good method. But here we have something called, if you just go to this user DTO, that's the reason I have actually created, separate DTO classes with all these properties so that there is something called @not null. So we need to add some starter validations. If you just go to this one, there is something called validation. So if you just go and explore that. So here we have something called Spring Boot starter validation. So once you add this in the form of XML, reload the project. Now, once the dependency is there, even in the DTO, you can add some annotations like @not. Yeah, see here, Jakarta validation. Okay. So, and also we can do that, some message, user email cannot be empty.
Null. Okay.
No, 1 second, I just wanted to show. But this will check only for not empty only. It will not check for not null. So there is something called @not blank. So @not blank will check for user email cannot be blank or empty. It will check for both empty as well as blank.
Blank. Okay.
Okay, so if you just go to this blank, so you'll just see that it must not be none and must contain at least one non-white space character. So this will check for both null as well as empty. But we'll see that tomorrow. Okay, not now.
Yeah. Got it. So any kind of like validations, the properties, so we can define in DTO class also.
Yes. That's the reason we have actually segregated entity as a separate class and DTO as a separate class. Got it?
Yeah, got it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ranesh. So that's all for today, and I will meet you tomorrow, everyone. Okay? Not tomorrow, Monday. Thank you all and have a great day.